There it is.
Oh, we have it says new things. The content of this meeting is being sent to a third party.
Dun, dun, dun.
You should be live, yes, again.
Okay, you want music?
No, I don't think we need music. It's a board meeting. We're not supposed to be having fun.
Oh, sorry.
Serious faces.
All right, January 2024 board meeting called to order. In attendance, we have Solanox Glansberg, Bill Ill, Megan Norton, Brian Hunt, Amanda Schrantz, Alan Little, and Daniela Hayes. Not in attendance, Erin Lynn Scott, Heather Woods, and Tamara Hunt. And we are getting an agenda item or list, agenda list up.
There, I think it's all up. Give me just a
Everything we
second.
had.
Let me double check.
Besides approving last.
Yeah.
month's.
Well, that'll be first, but
Yeah,
I wanna see if anybody else here has anything that they want to make sure is on the agenda before we start working our way through it. Well, is there anything that you want on it? And I'll make sure it's on it, and then I will read through the agenda list after we approve the minutes. The floor is open. Does anybody have anything they want to add to the agenda at this time? Anything you want to urgently discuss?
No.
All right. Minutes from last month were posted in the drive and in the event for tonight on Facebook. Everybody had a chance to
I have.
review?
yes.
Does anybody have an objection to those minutes being entered into the record?
No.
No objection.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Did you speak, Brian?
No, I'm abstaining.
Okay. All right.
I wasn't here. I can't speak to the validity of them, so.
You were here last month.
You were here last month because you guys were in the hotel. It was the hotel last month when we did this meeting.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, motion carries, minutes entered. All right, so the proposed agenda that we have for this month, we have the treasurer's report. We're gonna look over the planning for the Serenity Suite. Plans for Green Man Day for January. Welcome Summer Festival planning. Election of officers probably should be bumped to the top.
That I just do it needed to be put in there.
Yep, I'm just gonna. Election of officers first.
It's all the old one.
I'm gonna
It's-
get notifications.
My phone being crazy. Sorry, I'll shut it off.
That's just.
Sensory room plans, which I think can go with the Serenity Suite because they're kind of tied together at the moment. Discuss tithe organizations, safe space training, update on our safety committee. Vote on our locations for Lighthouse rituals this year. And something that says how deep we're doing treasury reports.
Yes, I'll discuss that after we give the treasury report. Okay.
All right. So I guess election of officers. Sorry? Oh, I thought somebody said something online. So I guess it's election of officers is up first. Somebody want to refresh me on procedure? Am I supposed to start this? Do we have any objections to re-electing the current slate of officers? Do we have anybody who wants to step up for a position? Any objections to anybody holding a position? Right now, we have me as president, Castle as Bill as treasurer, and Danielle as secretary.
You should also give people the opportunity to step down if they want, but.
Yeah, that's other than that, I think we're fine.
I have no intention of stepping down unless anybody thinks I'm doing a terrible job and wants to get rid of me.
I don't think this is a good year for me to take on any type of officer position.
No, I don't think so.
And I don't plan on stepping down because I'm still refining what we're doing to make sure that we got procedures down so the next person that does come in knows what they have. They can take the books and just go with what we've got going on.
A smoother transition.
A smoother transition, if that's okay.
Yeah. Um,
So motion to leave the board as is.
second, thirded. All in favor?
I,
I
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I think that was everybody. right.
Anybody's opposed?
Motion carries. Current slate of officers reelected for one more year. And a day, maybe.
Yeah, a year and a day.
It probably usually ends up working out to be a year minus a day or something.
yeah, I was gonna say, last year it was a year minus a day.
And this year next year it'll be a year plus a day because it's leap year this year.
Mhm. All right, so next up is treasury report.
Give me just a second to get to that folder.
Give me just a second to get to the picture.
The folder. Okay, this is- There we go.
No, the next year it will be a year minus a day because it's on the 6th instead of the 8th.
No, it would be the second Monday, so it'll be on the 13th, so it'll be a year and 5 days.
Fair. All
Six
right.
If you can't believe it.
All right. For the month of December, we had expenses of $1,059.04. Part of that was a $50 increase to our rent that we are paying here for the space that we occupy in the suite, because we decided that that was the right thing to do because rent did go up and we are utilizing more and more of the space as a church. Our credits this month cleared. The income for this month was $1,589.94. We had an increase of about $500 for the month.
Nice.
We didn't spend all our income for once. That's a good thing. Tithes are not figured out because I had a couple other meetings before this. I will get those tithes figured out and get them paid.
Yeah.
And I think right now we're in a good place with a checkbook. We've got about $3,000 in the checkbook right now. That includes paying the month run of June or January.
You have that exact balance, just so I can throw it in the.
I can have it in just a second, or I love that I have passwords saved. It makes my life easier. Current checkbook balance is $4,616.57.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
Because Patreon posted today. We've got another $957 up from Patreon today. So we're still covering rent and still saving some of that money from Patreon, which is nice. We're headed in the right direction, and I like that. For ease of reporting this next year, the cauldron sweep, the vending machine sweep, the coffee bar sweep, we have places where donations are coming in. I have the attendance document for when we do ritual, when we're doing our events. When we sweep those, I have a place to put those in so that we can keep track better of what's coming in every time we do an event. So that when we dump it, when it gets put in the bank, it goes into the bank as cash, but I can see $15 come from the cauldron, $10 come from the vending machines. Coffee bar had given me $5 this month.
So where are we on doing software for the church? As far as tracking all of this stuff.
I have the software. That's what the next question's about. The
Okay.
software is, I'm using the software. That's the next question I have.
Okay.
How deep do you guys want the reports? I can take them to the simple what I've been doing, and I can take them clear deep down to each category.
I think we need to be able to do those deep reports, but I don't think we necessarily need them like at every meeting unless somebody specifically asks for them or unless there's something out of the ordinary.
Okay. And that's
but,
fine. I just have to run this last year's.
I'm just, the reason I ask about the software is because I saw the cool spreadsheet that you set up and that's cool. But that should also be able to be entered directly into the software
Yes,
that's with that same level of detail.
yes.
Okay,
I just have to make sure I'm taking the time to put the notes in and follow the notes and follow the paper trail.
okay,
And that's one of the things I'm gonna be working on this year is to follow that bit. That's why I did the spreadsheet, because now when that slip of paper comes back from the bank, I know the total, and then I can break the total up into those 3 different categories because I have it written down somewhere.
okay. Let me phrase this a different way. Generally, data integrity is compromised when you have the same piece of information entered in multiple places. So every time you enter that information is an opportunity for errors to come in. So that's why I'm wondering what the benefit is to putting it in the spreadsheet and then entering it again later into the financial software from the spreadsheet instead of entering it directly into the software in the first place.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
That's my
Oh,
concern.
okay, and I can fix that.
Okay.
That's why we're having this discussion right now, because I want to know what.
Because then it'll already be in there and then we can go and we can pull those, we can make that spreadsheet come back out as a report if we want to look at it.
Right.
I'm pretty sure that software has like a report function that will have all that stuff detailed out exactly as we want to see it.
It does, and that's why I'm asking right now. I want to make sure that we're doing this the right way, and I want to make sure that we're doing it with transparency, and that's why I'm asking what we need to do so that I make sure I have a clear picture. Okay?
Okay.
I mean, I know how to do it. I just want to make sure.
I like being able to track all those little pieces because going right back to small things, we may be able to find something that we can nibble around the edges at when we're getting stuck on the bigger stuff to, bring in a little bit more money.
Right.
So
Agreed.
I think it should probably just be in one place.
Okay, no, that's fine, and we can do that in one place. We have that data integrity. I agree.
Yep. And then have you taken a look at Candid for this year yet? Okay, so it used to be called GuideStar.
No, I have not had a chance to look at GuideStar yet this year. For this
Okay.
year, for this last year. That is what's creating a task right now.
Because a chunk of what needs to go in there comes from
Me.
you.
All right.
So I may need to get in there and give you access to enter our information as an organization.
Right.
If that's the case, let me know. If you're able to get in and do that on your own, you can go ahead and do that.
Okay.
I mean, as far as regular reports every month at the board meeting, I'm okay with in and out, tithe, and current balance. Does anybody else want additional information to come back at the monthly?
Could we, for the monthly report for the meeting, that's fine. Could we have a monthly report with those details go into the drive? So that I can just, if we put that somewhere in the drive, I can link that into our meeting minutes so that if somebody who has access, because we have the meeting minutes are, I believe, accessible, right?
No, because documents that are directly on our drive.
Okay.
Fall into the privacy wall.
But it would allow me a quick source if we needed that information spread.
Yeah, so we can go get it.
Provide it to whoever needs it. So if we could do it that way, that'd be good.
And going through all of the requirements to get us to the platinum status on the Candid listing, will give you a pretty good set of reports that probably should be getting generated every month and at least made available to us to look at
Okay.
until we find a way to properly make them
So you
available
have
publicly
to
on the
send-
website or something.
same data integrity issue that you were talking about if you're making the reports and storing them because you have snapshot reports that aren't necessarily accurate to live data.
But
The better way it would be to set up read-only user accounts if people want to look at what's in the software.
the ability to do that may not be possible with the
It's not.
software that we've got unless we're willing to pay more money
Okay.
to get enterprise level software that can allow multiple people to access.
Because right now we pay for one user at $95 a year or $75 a year for our software.
But on the flip side of the data integrity at Jackson, does everybody at Jackson have the ability to go directly into the financial software and look at balances, or do they access reports that are made available by the county?
It depends on your level and whether you have access to see it at all. Some of it is accounting reports. Yes.
Okay,
So in general, standard practice is the monthly reports that are on the minutes. It's not. I don't know of any organization that allows people to look at the financials.
And that,
There's also that if there is a correction, it needs to be into those reports are republished and.
Right.
I didn't want to get into that. So if it's a snapshot, it's a snapshot. Just
yeah, so I
something to
think
keep in mind.
snapshots are fine. We know it's a snapshot and not a live look.
when I balance the checkbook, we have what we call a reconciliation report that gets printed, that it produces. I save a copy of it so that we have a copy of it so I can see what the snapshot for the month looks like. It shows all the expenses out. It shows all the deposits in. It shows the clearing of them. It shows the balance at that date the report was ran.
Mhm.
And it shows what our income and outflows were for the month.
Mhm.
It's a basic standard reconciliation form. And down at the bottom, because there's sometimes, this month there isn't, but some months there'll be things that are not cleared because they've already been entered in the checkbook
Yeah,
before I
that's-
get to them.
That's normal. That's normal.
Okay, just
I
letting you
just-
guys know.
I don't think we need to hash out further at this point. Cause you're gonna go look at Candid and see what they're looking for,
Mhm.
and we're gonna create some standard nonprofit reports.
For us.
Yep.
To do what we need to do. Okay, I need to know how deep we needed to go. That's why I asked.
That's my first target for how deep we need to go. What
Okay.
do we need to fulfill the platinum requirements on Candid
Okay,
for transparency?
sounds good.
And then if somebody wants more, do you want more?
Well, I wanted to ask because we had been also including in our treasury reports, our Patreon snapshot for the month and our current membership. Is that data that we do want to continue to include? Because at this point, we said we only wanted tithes, what's coming in, what's going out, and current snapshot of the balance.
If you want it, we can add it. That's
Yeah.
what we're establishing right now.
I'm asking if the team wants it.
I think it's helpful.
Yeah,
If there's any kind of massive change in there, you want to know immediately.
And that was my thought. If we all of a sudden are dropping people, then that's
Yeah, and
a flag that we need to look
it's
into.
a metric we can look at and see what we need to do to correct the ship.
Mhm.
I agree.
Okay, so add that to the monthly list. For meeting report.
Okay.
Is there anything else that we want to include in the monthly meeting report?
I feel like we've got a good start here, and if something else comes up later, we can always add it.
Right, and like I said, if GuideStar says that we should be doing this at our monthly meetings, well,
We'll adjust.
we'll adjust.
All right. Do we have any questions for treasurer at this point?
I need to add the Patreon section to the treasury report before we move off of treasury. I haven't said it yet.
Oh, you're doing that part and didn't do this, but okay, so yes.
Okay,
Let's do
so our
She's my
current,
assistant.
our current snapshot is $1,050. We had an additional member add, so we are up to 22 members at the moment.
And that's before fees, right?
Correct. Yep, that is the before taxes, fees.
All right.
So that 957 that I said is our,
That
that's
that was our
that's after fees and stuff, so.
Mhm. Any questions?
Nope, I'm good.
Okey-dokey. Next up then was the Serenity Room. And I'm gonna go pull it up. I have planning documents for the Serenity Room under the rituals folder and convocation. There's a 2024 Serenity Suite. We've got our volunteer planning shift sign up. And we've already had a few folks sign up in here. And this will just finish loading. Megan was gonna put their names. Oh, did that not?
I was gonna do that tonight.
Oh, okay. Megan was gonna bring their names over, but we've got. Looks like 4 slots still over
Yes.
there.
We currently have Saturday from noon to 2 with 1 person, Saturday 4 to 6 with 2 people, and then both Sunday shifts have 1 person.
Okay, so I set it up with 2-hour time slots for most of it. I think the only spot that's not 2 hours is 6 to 7 PM Friday and Saturday. The rest of it's 2-hour chunks. And then as far as I know, the people who have signed up so far have offered to pay for the training. I told them to just put it in as a donation because we already agreed we were gonna cover this for anybody who needed it. I will sweep those names once a week and get them signed up for the training so we can get the background check and everything back before convocation.
What's your time frame to get it back before convocation? Oh, it's the turnaround time.
The turnaround's like a couple of weeks, 2 to 4 weeks, I think.
So you need to have a deadline to sign up if you're doing
And
the training.
we've told folks that, yes. Sign up, please sign up soon. So that we can get you cleared. We talked about that Wednesday night at the meeting when we talked about the church, annual church report. For that, so that's how we got some signups. But several people were like, me, so yay. And then we've got the other document in there is a full list of planning. So, based on our visit out there, there's a lot of variables in the rooms out there. So everything that we do is gonna really depend on where we end up. So anxiously awaiting that information. But I've got stuff in here for like 5 or 6 different zones within the area. An area where people can be quietly social, have coffee and snacks type of thing. An area where we can set up a pillow fort. I've had somebody offer to donate a pile of squishmallows to the effort. An area where we can close things off and kind of have a dark, quiet space with a VR headset that folks can do meditation in. And an area where we've got fidgety things to play with, almost like a Lego building table, but we're going to put our sensory toys in there, coloring and things like that. Most of this is stuff that we already have. Some of this is being ordered this week. Some of it we're going to need to flesh out, but there's basically a shopping list in here. And so I think for right now, planning should be get in here. If you have a suggestion to make a suggestion in here, but let's start collecting what we can of all of these items. Between now and then like next board meeting, do a last minute authorization on what have we got to have that we can't live without. By then we should know the room that we're going to be in, so we'll be able to firm up the plans.
I had a question. Did you want me to make the sensory marble maze fabric squares?
Refresh my memory on what that was going to be.
It's basically a square that's got 2 layers of fabric and you stitch a maze that you push the marble through.
Yeah, absolutely.
I need 2 things. How many and what's the deadline that they need to be done by?
They would need to be done by, I'd say, February 15th. So they can get into early packing. And, the 15th. Yeah. Week before.
Yeah,
And
and
as
I,
far as how many do you want to make? How many do y'all think we would need? I don't know.
I think doing maybe a couple, I wouldn't go
Yeah,
hog
not
wild,
too many.
Mandy.
Like 3 or 4?
Yeah,
2 or 3, even, you don't have to do a ton. I don't know how, we don't know how they're gonna be used.
we don't
or-
know how they're gonna be used, but I'm also picturing a group of coming in or somebody seeing somebody playing with it and wanting to try it out. And
Right.
if they're really, I don't know how difficult it is to make. It seems like a relatively easy thing.
I'm thinking less than an hour each. Like the tedious part's gonna be sewing the maze in, and depending on how complicated I want to do it, you know.
Kiss.
Yeah.
Well, I was
print it
thinking
out.
about trying to make a Hekate's wheel one, where you push the marble through Hekate's wheel.
Well, that's on you. All right, whatever you're up for making, don't overdo
Okay.
it, okay?
I put down 2 to 4 and then the 15th. I needed a deadline, so when I set out my calendar for planning, I have a deadline that I can
Yeah.
schedule time in.
I think having a materials deadline of the week before so that we can pack and not be stressing out at the last minute. We may be fleshing out some of this after the last board meeting, but most stuff should be prepared by then.
So has the list of your shopping list per se been shared with the congregation for donations?
That's a good idea, and we probably should put that.
We can do that.
Yeah.
In fact, we could just print this out and set it up
Put
on the
it
board and
there.
have people
That-
start bringing stuff in.
You should also put it in our newsletter too.
Yep.
Be a newsletter, Phil.
How much of it can go on an Amazon wish list that's shareable?
That's the harder part. I think our wish list is still out there somewhere, but I'm not sure
Can't
how it
find
works
it.
anymore. But rather than creating an Amazon hosted wish list, I think if we want to go to the effort to track down Amazon listings or online listings anywhere for all of this stuff, we can just compile those links on a page that we share.
Yeah.
And that might be the easiest way. If somebody wants to see if they can get an Amazon wish list back up and running for us, you're welcome to do that and send the information back and then we can use that instead. Adding this list to the website would be another big task. Is anybody available to take that task on?
I can't play.
Crickets.
I
So
can't play
let's
the
stick
website.
with posting it on the board for right now. And I should be able to copy paste that into the newsletter and that should be fine. Let's see.
We'd mentioned something last week when we were up here doing inventory. You were gonna get a hold of Atmosphere and get another box, right?
What happened? I think I have to call them.
Right.
That's on my task list and everything got sidetracked this week by the inventory and.
No, the computer issue.
Yes.
Okay, no, not a problem. I just wanted to make sure it was still on the list. I
Yes.
wasn't being accusatory or anything.
Still on the list.
Okay.
All right. What else do we need to discuss about the Serenity Suite at this point in time?
So just to recap, what we're to do with this list is try to see what we can to fill it, or we want to discuss like possibly changing things at some point.
So if we want to do a full planning session for the suite, I think we need to set aside a separate time for that.
Okay.
So that we're not taking up the business meeting with it.
I agree.
So right now. There we go. I would be available Saturday evening. Sorry, my calendar just isn't responding. Saturday evening.
Sounds like it's Saturday.
The 13th.
I would say Sunday evening, but I don't know if Mandy's gonna have obligations that night or not yet.
I don't know yet either. I'll find out tonight, I'm sure.
Is that something, because I know there's inebriated insights Saturday, right? Would we do that?
Yeah. Any Braided Insights is this Saturday.
What about the 20th?
If you're looking at the 14th, I believe Mandy is going to be occupied.
Okay.
If it's based off of the schedule that ended with my schedule.
Okay.
Mhm.
So you guys are saying you don't want to have inebriated serenity?
Decisions while inebriated regarding stuff like this.
That's what I have available this week is after closing on Saturday. Next
The
week,
question was raised about the 20th.
I can do after closing on the 20th.
That should work.
So 8 o'clock.
I get that in my calendar.
I want to get it in my calendar. Maybe. Why is it? At any rate, between now and then, that document is available to everybody with access to the Ritual Drive. And if you want to go in there and look at it and make edit to it at any point in time, you can do that. Are we going to meet here or are we meeting online?
I said we probably just meet right here, it'd be easiest.
All right.
Yep, I'm good with that.
You good with that, Megan? 8 o'clock on that, for that meeting here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, well, let's see if this works. I just created an event and invited the board, so.
Okay.
Back to our list. I have too many windows open.
No,
Yeah.
Sadie, so Joe.
Explains
All
why it's
right.
cold in here.
And then I think somebody else had added sensory room plans to the list.
Think-
Uh,
Church
yeah,
rooms, right?
That was the plans for our room.
okay,
That we're kind of waiting to see what we come up with from Con, correct?
That's
Just
right.
trying, so we don't lose it, is why we put it out there, because it's
Okay.
not tabled.
did we need to cover anything on it tonight or?
I don't think so. I just didn't want it to get lost in old minutes because I know what happens in boards when you table something,
Mhm.
it gets forgotten.
Okay,
And I just wanted to make sure it was still on the burners.
keep it on the list. Megan,
We had also discussed getting like fidgets with our logo or any of that information.
right, that order's going in this week.
Okay,
I've got
that's
a
the one that's
quote
going
from
in.
one
Okay.
company, but I just had a brainstorm, fortunately, before filling that quote, that our usual printer might actually be able to do that. So I'm going to hit them up for a quote before I finalize that this week, but
Okay,
that's going out.
that's good.
Fidgets, weavers, fidgets, fidget spinners, weavers, fidgets.
And I know we talked about getting the atmosphere because we want to put one in here and that gives us something to take them
Mhm.
to have background noise
Yep, and then, we can also make use of that
here.
In there,
in the
in the sensory room.
sensory room. Mhm. Any other questions?
No, but the idea of having a Weaver's branded fidget makes me extraordinarily giddy.
All right, Green Man plans, agenda for Green Man for January, what needs doing? Castle has talked about, making, inventory checking, I guess.
Do do an audit on the totes that we have. Also get the totes cleaned back up for mule because they're kind of all over the place again. And that's something that we just need to work on. That's not being accusatory, but we need to make sure that we are taking care of the things that we get out and doing an audit check once a month on a couple totes so that we make sure that all the things that are supposed to be in them are in them.
And I think just making that a regular part of the Green Man Day, audit our storage, go and clean it up, make sure everything, that's a job that can be done on a regular basis. So,
And having it where we can, that way also it gives me as the treasurer, I have to account for assets that we own. That gives us the way to account for these assets that we own. And if it also makes us look at them and see if they need to be repaired or replaced or changed out or disposed of when they're destroyed.
speaking of assets, and being that it's the first one of the year, would taking an inventory of the church side be a good idea?
Probably.
Probably. I really think it would. I mean, I wouldn't take inventory of consumables, i.e. our coffee and paper plates and things like that, because those are consumables, they're gonna go quick. I'm talking fixed assets,
Mhm.
television, computers, books,
Whiteboards,
whiteboard.
planters,
Yeah.
bookshelves, chairs, card decks, games,
Yeah,
cushions,
tables, chairs, yeah, that type of stuff. Do a hard
everything.
dishes, do a complete inventory and put it in a spreadsheet.
We can put it in ToteScan.
Mhm.
We can do that.
We can give the library
I
a
know.
container. We can give each bookshelf a container. If we've already got a system that's tracking,
Let's do it.
Suggestion for when we're doing audits that aren't full inventories, that we list on the to-do that we audit the Sabbath before and the Sabbath that's upcoming.
that's a good idea.
Good
And
idea.
in that way, it rotates through the year and we make sure that the previous Sabbath was put away and we have everything we need for the next Sabbath.
When you say Sabbath before, do you mean the previous Sabbath?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like this
So
meeting,
like
This would be
Yule,
putting away Yule and setting up ebook.
Yeah,
yep.
That I like that idea.
yeah.
I really do. It will help us make sure that things aren't, not saying people are gonna steal, but make sure things aren't walking away.
We won't ever have a period where we won't have at least one Green Man Day in between Sabbaths. There's
Right.
more months than Sabbaths, so
Right. And it
that would help
also,
stay on top of those.
but that also helps us make sure that we're cleaning up
Yeah,
our Samhain decor or our Mabon decor that's
Yep.
still sitting out. And
Yep.
it makes it
well,
feel
I mean, we're witches, we leave Maven out all year, but
right. But it helps make us feel cleaner.
I think he's looking at the skull on
The skull.
skull. Yeah.
The
I'm
skull.
looking over there and I'm like, I don't see anything that's made. The skull, yeah.
The skull. But the disposable things, the consumable things, I wouldn't inventory. I'm talking hard assets.
I agree.
I
Okay.
suspect your guide star may have you inventory those, but if it doesn't, I would agree with you.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
and-
and that's something to look at when you're going through GuideStar or Candid for the
Candid.
financials. Look for anything else that we need and add it to the list. We'll collect it at the Green Man Day and get it in there.
I put that on my motion, so it's something I'm gonna be doing before Green Man Day. I gotta move it.
Just look, and the inventory is probably gonna take up the whole Green Man Day, but just things that we didn't get around to my knowledge from the last one, if we want to include it on this one going forward, was to clean up the fridge and the cabinets above the sink
Yeah,
and to come up with a plan to keep it clean and organized, as well as finish labeling the backdrops.
So labeling the backdrops can happen at the same time we inventory them.
Mhm.
Mhm.
It takes minimal time to pop a label on there. The hard part is having two people to fold it. That's why it didn't get done. I stopped at 3 because it was starting to hurt trying to rustle the backdrops by myself.
and I get that, I understand that, and I respect that.
Um. Anything else we want to get taken care of that day?
I think having a smaller amount is better than having too much.
Well,
Like-
and church inventory is going to be that's a big job.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a big one.
That's gonna be the big job, so I think we've got plenty on there.
Okay. Any other discussion that we need to have around Green Man?
I don't think so.
All right, moving right along. Welcome Summer Festival. What's our status?
Welcome Summer Festival status. I have sent out second round of emails to vendors about the price increase at the end of the month. Have not gotten any more bites. I'm sending out an email tonight to Lady Kate and Bob and Teddy to see if they would be willing to be our headliners, do our public ritual. Because I think they would be a nice draw. We might draw some more people in from the east and west side of the state, even because they are a bigger name. Not saying that what we've done and what other people have done for us is a bad thing, but let's think a little bit bigger. That's my thought. We do need to set a date for meeting, guys. We talked about it last month, never did anything with it. I want to just set a permanent date. If you can be there, you can be there. If you can't, we'll record the meetings because I want you guys, we need to get moving on this because we are less than 6 months away now.
I
So
kind of liked doing it after Green Man.
To
That
get
works.
time if everybody's here for it.
well, I think that at this point, yeah, like say, setting a date, and if we can make it, great. If we can't, we can't. And it's what it is because it's better than having no meeting at all. So
Right. No movement.
That's fine, but just keep in mind, Ash, today you probably wouldn't be able to go if it goes to super late.
Because of rituals on Sundays.
well, we do Green Man 12 to 5, right? So from 5 to 6.
Yeah, if we do it straight after, but we do spend some debriefing social time. So we might need to have it actually be after Green Man and not
Yeah.
10 to 6 to
Right.
7.
All right. It's set then. It'll be after Green Man, 5:15.
Okay.
I want to be band geek. It's 5:14. Early is on time is late. Late is dead. You put it at odd time and people remember it and they don't slough off. But that's what we will do it then after Green Man. I like that idea.
Because then it's easy to remember.
It's also easy to remember, and all of us that are on the committee are usually here or planned on being here that day. So
Yep. And as long as I leave by 7:30, I should be fine.
Okay.
fair enough.
All right. Awesome sauce. Do we have any
I do have I do have a Facebook page up. I've invited all of you to be members and editors on it. I think Ella's the only one that's accepted.
I thought I accepted.
Yeah.
or did I see it come? I see it come through, but then it didn't do what we were gonna
It's
do.
weird when I got it. I
Right. What was that?
go to the page itself. That's right. I had to go to the page itself to accept it.
Mhm.
That was the weird thing about it. Instead, it didn't send it into my inbox. I had to go to the page, and then it told me on the page that I had been invited to be.
Yep.
And then
Okay.
If we need to resend, if I need to resend the invites, let me know. I will resend them. I have no problem doing that.
I'll say
I'm
I'm an
not on
admin
it.
because
We
it keeps
resend it.
asking me if I want to post on my personal page or Welcome Summerfest page. Every time I make a post.
Every time, huh?
Every time.
There is, I went into the Canva and pulled the sign that we used, the
The banner sign.
the banner file to put pictures on there, so there's something on there. So that's on there. We need to go through and we'll talk about it in the meeting. I don't want to take up more time than we need to. I want to respect everybody's time because we have other people that have classes tonight, so.
Yeah, and we're back to full class scheduling, so everybody's got class.
Yep, well, and that's why I want to be respectful of time. We will talk about it in the meeting when we have the meeting. I will have an agenda up for the meeting. It will be in the folder for Welcome Summer, guys.
Any other questions for coordinator for Welcome Summer Festival before we move on? We getting anybody on anybody watching online? Commenting?
Oh, there's only one person online, probably me.
All right,
Yeah, I think it shows one if you're monitoring it.
making sure we weren't missing anybody.
Welcome Summer Festival, the park increased in price by $5.
Okay,
And our insurance has been approved. So we need to pay the park $200, and I'm still waiting on the bill for the insurance. They were talking about $225.
okay. And those are both already approved.
Yep. So I will get the checkbook and write a check out to Ingham County Parks and get that taken care of.
Sounds good.
It will not probably get paid tomorrow with the weather that's coming in, though. I am not driving out to Mason to pay for that tomorrow.
Oh,
I love y'all, but no.
all right. Any other questions? Comments, concerns, quandaries, queries on the Welcome Summer Festival? Who added discuss tithe organizations?
We did.
We did.
Okay,
We've got some new organizations that we haven't heard about on the poll that were suggested. I think there's 3 this year.
oh no, we've got 10. I was just looking at those.
We need to see who they are so I can see.
9, but at least 2 are the same.
So who do we have?
We have Punks with Lunch, Constellation Cat Cafe, Fenner Park, Helping Women Period, International Rescue Committee, Saving Scales Reptile Rescue, The Fledge, and Mitten Misfits Farm Animal Sanctuary.
Okay.
Interesting.
We got good cross group there. I'm just so that we know when it's elected, so we're not kind of shocked. I want to know who we're looking at. I mean,
Mhm.
I think all of them are worthy organizations. I think they'll all be worth it. I'm gonna say probably if we take and we use Fenner as our tithe, we may get a discount on our rental rates. Because we'd be considered a steward of the park.
I feel like that
Crosses that makes it not a tithe. That makes
Yeah.
it
Yeah, and I do agree with that, but I'm putting that out there because we have to be transparent about it.
well, that would be, I think, a good reason why we couldn't pick them.
Yeah, I was gonna ask,
I don't think it means that we can't pick them.
We just can't use that benefit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions?
So you said we had 10. I wasn't able to type fast enough.
9. There were 10 submissions, but 2 were Punks with Lunch. So there was 9. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't scroll down far enough. There's another one. It's a breast thing.
Okay, so there are 10 possibilities.
Well, it said no. There's 9 possibilities. There's 10 responses.
Oh, I
I haven't scrolled down all the way, but 2 of the responses are the same.
Okay.
And is that voting live? Now or,
It's going live tonight.
okay. Are there any organizations on that list that contradict
What we do.
what we do?
Punks with launches harm reduction and a resource for the homeless and for the greater Lansing area. I
Mhm.
think they,
The Fledge is the same. The Fledge runs
the
harm
Fledge,
reduction.
the Fledge also runs harm reduction too. They're two separate organizations though. They both
Mhm.
have their own 501c3.
Yep.
Kind of like in the pantry in the church.
Yep.
Um, I think they're both worthy. I think those two are good. Helping women period supply help and period poverty. They provide tampons and pads to those that need them. No questions asked. They provide them
Yep.
all over the state, not just Lansing area. Primary focus is Lansing, but they do help all over the state.
There were a few I hadn't heard of before.
I don't know.
I don't know about some of them either. What was it? It's a breast thing. I haven't heard of that one before either. Anybody else heard of that one?
No, I'm looking it up right now.
Okay, what was the reptile one?
Saving Scales Reptile Rescue.
That's your water bottle. So It's a Breast thing does deals with breast cancer patients through financial enhance the lives of breast cancer patients through financial grants, provide support to survivors and families. So
Saving Scales Reptile Rescue of Michigan is based out of Dansville, Michigan. They help rehome pets that are
Scaly.
scaly that people can't handle. 2023, they year-to-date adoptions was 201. 2022, they did 167 adoptions. They take surrenders. They've got pictures of ones that are available. They're actually pretty cool. But
They are.
Okay.
helping reptiles and amphibians and other exotics find new homes. We work with pet owners who need to surrender their pets and low animal law enforcement to take these interesting critters to help find them new loving homes. Every day is an adventure, and we are never quite sure what is coming in next. But we do our best to educate and advocate for quality pet ownership. That's not a bad, I don't think it's a bad thing.
No.
You've been on the end of that. You understand, Mandy.
Yeah. Um,
What else was up? Is that it?
Cat Constellation Cafe, which is
Cafe, yeah.
soon to be a neighbor of ours because they're moving into where Sukasa used to be.
Where?
Sukasa. Up here
That big
by-
they painted it purple.
Oh,
That'll
Yeah,
be
that's
Middletown, okay.
that's where they're moving in.
and that gives you a place to go pet cats and be serene and adopt cats, doesn't it?
And
Yep.
it did say that it is a 501c3.
Okay.
They're a cat rescue.
Okay, cool.
Any other questions?
So it seems like it would probably be good from a reputational standpoint and a candid standpoint to vet all of the things on the list prior to making them available for votes. Is you don't want to be in a situation where you're giving money to an organization where it's not going where you think it should be.
Mhm.
I
So-
agree.
So it's says it's this, but in actuality, it's just, the people running it are pulling a lot of money out of that sort of thing.
So what I could do is I could get contact information for all these and ask for their annual reports so we can see where they spend their money and how they spend their money.
What are we looking for exactly?
To ensure that the vast majority of the money that they're coming in is being spent on what they're saying it's being spent on.
Okay, but we are
And-
creating a new project that is going in between what we promised voting food's gonna go up this week. Previously, and the timeline that we had set out at last month's board meeting. So what I
Okay.
need to know before we put this additional task in place is what defines completion, what defines success. So what exactly are we looking for when we look at these organizations, and what would disqualify one?
I think at this point, as long as they've got a 501(c)(3) in good standing, that would be enough for now.
Yeah, 501
And going forward, we can vet harder and like if we run across something that is a big red flag, we can always withdraw the tithe and change
Mhm,
organizations.
yeah,
Because they don't know they're getting this until they get it.
Right.
And also, well, we could look for the 501(c)(3) and we can go check and see if there's anything on Laura about them, because you and I both have access to Laura too.
everybody else.
Well, yeah, we can go look,
Mhm.
we can
It's
go look,
publicly available records.
right, we can go look at Laura too and see if there's any.
See if what? That's what we're
Yeah.
going on a fishing expedition here, guys. What are we
Okay.
fishing for?
So I would say at this point, given the time frame that you have, making sure that their values and their objectives are not in conflict with the church. And
What
there's-
defining conflict. I'm sorry to be pedantic here, but again, you're changing the timeline at the last minute. What exactly are we looking for?
So one thing is I'm looking at saving skills and in support, all they have is volunteer. I don't see any place where they take financial donations. So that potentially might disqualify them if they don't have a place to donate any money to them. I mean, I'm sure you could contact them and be like, oh, hey, we'd like to give you some money. But like the cafe that I looked at, said it was a 501(c)(3) and then also said, one-time donation.
Oh, no, they have donation on their website.
Yeah, I mean, they've got a Cash App and a Venmo right there and a
Other-
donate button from PayPal.
Oh,
Down
It
at the
was
bottom.
As a new
it was-
501(c)(3). So,
no, I saw it on the Cat Cafe.
no, I'm
I
looking at
found-
saving scales.
Yeah, I found it. I hadn't scrolled down far
Okay,
enough.
okay.
Cause when I went to support, they only had volunteer. When I was hovering over it, when I clicked it,
I
She's-
see. And then
she's
you
looking-
clicked on the volunteer
yeah,
page.
now that I
Gotcha.
clicked it, now I found it. But I'm saying like,
Yeah.
if you went, that could potentially, in your question of what would disqualify it, if they didn't have a space to
Take some
give
money.
money, then I would say that might
All right, so we
potentially
wanna
disqualify
verify that
them.
they can receive funds.
Yeah,
Make sure they're registered with the state like they're supposed to be.
Make sure they check their 501(c)(3). What else are we looking for?
I would say you
Their
should. all
websites don't
commercial
have,
associations, but that's,
their websites
Yeah.
don't have commercials for political parties.
I would say you should exclude all commercial associations.
Well, that wouldn't be a 501(c)(3), would it?
Oh, yeah, it is.
Are there
Old Town
commercial associations?
Association, which is in the business of raising money
Okay.
to improve the Old Town Commercial Association, is a 501(c)(3).
Are there commercial associations on that list?
No.
That's
Is
what I
this a
said,
concern?
making sure there wasn't. If there's not, there's not.
Okay,
You asked what would disqualify, I was
right.
giving an example. If there's nothing like that on there, and maybe it's not an issue, I retract the statement.
I'm just trying to figure out what we're looking for. All right, so we need to vet the organizations before publishing the poll. Who is gonna do that one?
After this meeting, I'll get it done. I'm up here, I'm not going anywhere. So we'll be done.
Okay, cool. And then let me know if anybody needs to be taken off the list.
Absolutely.
Published live, not published the poll yet,
Okay.
apparently. Ella knows what I mean. Yeah, I love it when it doesn't work the way I thought it would the first time. Anyway. All right, so do we need anything else? Any other questions, comments, concerns on our charity, designated charity thing?
Nope.
The list. Safe space training. All right, I think that was brought up because we are getting it for our Serenity Suite volunteers, and we also all need to do it ourselves again this year.
Around July, just a reminder that something to put on your calendar that we're going to need to do this again. Again, something that gets lost in the background. We don't need to lose it. Put it up front so we see it.
Do you have any questions on that discussion that we need? Nope.
I do have a question because I
Okay.
did add the training completed to the not on that paper, but on the
Oh, yeah, because we had
Google.
talked about
So-
adding the extra column.
how are we going to go about like checking that off? Like, is one person going to be in charge of that? Is there going to be like a
That's on me to mark it off when I
Okay.
get the note, because I'll be the
You'll
one,
get the
I've got
notice.
the access to the back end on those, so I have to submit the request and then I'll get the notification when they get cleared.
okay?
And mark it off.
So you're doing the training for the Serenity room, right?
Yes.
What about the sensory room? Is that on there too? Or did I miss that?
The sensory room is generally gonna get manned by those of us who are here, and we're all already required to be trained.
If somebody steps up and wants to volunteer to man that specifically.
Yeah, if we start doing specific functions where we need somebody that's not already covered, then we'll get them trained, but we don't have anything
No.
planned at the moment.
Like how we're doing the Serenity, right?
Yeah.
If something comes up. Oh crap! Sorry, I accidentally took my dosimetry badge home.
Well, we're not radioactive, are we?
Nope.
We're all gonna live. Good.
We're all gonna live.
I hate it when that happens.
I hate it.
I can't when I take my badge from here home. So
It's not
When I take
radioactive.
your badge.
yeah. All right. Brevity.
All right. Any other questions on training?
I don't see anything.
All right, next item on the list was our safety committee. And that would be a report from Alfred.
Kind of behind between wrapping up the school year and getting sick. I created an emergency planning folder in the board meeting. If it needs to be moved somewhere else, let me know. I added a document first from FEMA, which is a document about developing emergency operation plans for houses of worship. This second is a document from the city of Fairfax in Virginia with kind of some boilerplate examples of, this is how you actually write the plan. This is what it kind of looks like. I did, both of those are fairly short. One of the things I need to see if we can we make we have that Facebook, that little chat messenger group. If we could create one of those for the our planning board, and also set up kind of a standing day that we can meet to discuss this stuff. I figured if we can have a day either before or after, the week before or after this meeting to work on stuff and then have that chat to kind of go back and forth to make sure everything's on course. We should be able to get it going pretty good.
Does anybody know how to create those chats? Because I know we had talked about doing that and replacing the Weavers fam messenger chat that's going on right now with something like that for Weavers. I don't know how to create them. I've not messed with them.
If you, to create a new group chat, you just, open up a chat window and start adding names to it. And,
Rename it.
Well, I think
you don't have to rename it,
Well,
but,
Well, I think those kind of chats, unless I'm misunderstanding it, that Alfred was talking about, is those new weird chat thing that they've all got, where it's like as part of like under the group or something like this, like group chat versus not like a standard just messenger chat that just has multiple people. It's the communities chat.
oh. Are you wanting to create one for the security group or
Yeah.
just, are we just talking in general about the one we wanted to make for the?
Well, we need to do that too, but I think Alfred was specifically talking about the one for security as like under that or something like that.
I don't know that does security committee need to be a publicly accessible chat?
No,
That's what those are.
I don't think.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
you're probably better off with the messenger group.
Yeah,
Okay.
like we have for the board meeting now,
Yeah.
or when we go to an event, there's a bunch of us there, we create a new, so that we're not inundating everybody in our board with what we're doing in an event. It's kind of pushed to the side, so we have a.
Right. And about setting up a standing date for the meeting, I was wondering if we could do like the Monday before or the Monday after this meeting.
What time are you thinking for that?
Same time frame if possible, because if
Can't, because you've got personal meetings and you've got first degree meeting.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I've got that won't work for me either. So maybe not Monday, but what about another day?
we could move first degree meeting off of Mondays.
well, I don't want to go disrupting everybody's life. So
What about what about Tuesday? I don't remember if there's your heel class is on Tuesday,
Hill classes on Tuesday, and there's also second degree meeting on Tuesday,
which is the second degree meetings at
7.
Which could also be moved to another day of the week. I'm always open to moving meetings off of Mondays and Tuesdays, just saying.
Right,
So-
because
I'm
So
cool
that's-
with moving meetings off of Mondays too.
That's Solenox's weekend.
yeah, no, we understand that, and honestly, you want to move my personal meeting, we can move that too. I'm okay with it.
right.
I'm all for it.
We'll move it so that you guys so that you can have your weekend. I think that's fair.
And I mean, I really only need 7 to 8, and that's before my personal meeting, right? And that's before our degree meeting, for a Tuesday, sorry.
I don't even think I'm on that committee, so I have no dog in this race.
I thought you were.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
I-
thought you were.
Maybe I am. You
You're
want to?
Better
voluntold.
check the meetings.
I'll go.
Check the minutes.
I'll check the minutes. I might be on that. I don't remember. If you want to move it, if we want to do it at 7 o'clock on that Tuesday, that's fine, and we'll move the second degree meeting that way. You want to find a different time to do second degree meeting?
Isn't the second
what
degree
was
meeting at
last-
8?
Second degree meeting is at 7.
7.
Okay. I'm looking at my personal meeting and yeah, however you guys want to do it. I just need a day when we can talk on this.
We can hash stuff out. I agree.
Right.
Well, what about I know this is like not everybody's favorite thing to do, but what about like Friday? That's like the one that I know a lot of people have lighter schedules.
I'm gonna
Yeah, I
check
find
Fridays
we don't
are out.
have rituals on Friday.
Like Friday rituals is kind of dead now. It's done now. So I mean, Friday at like because we're talking once a month, right? We're not talking
Once a month. Yeah.
So I feel like once a month I could do a Friday at like 7 or something like that.
It'd have to be at 8 because we gotta wait for the store.
Okay, 8. You're right.
I'm not on that committee.
Oh, you're not? I thought you were.
Okay, so then, yeah, I'd be fine with that. I don't know about everybody else. I don't remember. I don't remember who was on the committee. I could go look from.
Just let me know if you're gonna need this room for your meeting so that I can reserve your time.
Well, I won't be there. I have to do it online, so.
Well, and honestly, if we're doing it online, we can, I'll stay at home and do it online too. I can just
Okay.
do it from home. That's
No worries.
ideal. Were you
Yeah.
on the committee?
I'm not officially, but I'm wishy-washy on it. I'm fine being invited and coming.
Okay. I'm asking.
I didn't officially say yes, I would,
Okay, that's fair.
but I also,
Didn't
Okay,
say you would.
no, yeah.
Tamara, me, Castle, and Heather are the ones on that one.
And Alfred, I assume.
I don't know that we need to have more than that involved in there. It's probably better to keep it as a core group.
Yep,
So y'all don't get bogged down in chit-chatting
Minutia.
and stuff.
So
So-
yeah, no, I feel like we could do just an online meeting. We don't necessarily need to do it in person.
Right.
And I don't know, what time do you want to do? If we do a Friday, is Friday work for unfortunately Tamara's not here, but Bill, Alan, and so
Fridays are not going to work for me.
Friday's not gonna work. Okay.
Gonna be the most challenging day of the week, probably, apart from
Mhm.
Saturday.
Especially with things that are coming down the pipe that I can see.
Mhm.
It's not gonna be able to work for me. I'm gonna tell you that.
What
I-
about Thursday?
Thursdays, do you guys have stuff going on Thursdays? I realize Wednesdays would be a challenge every week, but Thursdays might be open. I'm
I'm
talking about an online meeting.
I'm talking about unemployment opportunities and things like that. So I'm
Yeah.
trying to make sure I keep my evenings open. And that's a lot of the time I spend with my husband on Thursdays and Fridays because he's home.
So I don't have anything on the schedule through the winter term.
All right, let's.
I think start with a Facebook Messenger chat and figure it out between the team that volunteered what the best
Yeah.
day is.
And because you're a small group, you don't have to get it fixed to this day every month. You can set the next meeting at each meeting.
I mean, you can, but
Challenges to it,
I
but
This
it's.
think
should
the more
have-
stability, the better.
Right, I agree with you, Alfred. That's why we set this welcome summer to the third, to the Green Man Day.
we don't have a good track record with ad hoc planning.
Right.
Okay, yeah, no, create. I agree with what Brian said though. Just if you create the Facebook messenger group or whatever, and just have us all in there, we can sort it out amongst ourselves.
Okay. Sounds good. Then that's all I have.
Anybody have any questions for Alan regarding our emergency planning committee?
It's first
I
I
tried, man.
Lead a horse to
Well,
water.
half the group isn't there tonight.
Yeah, have to be the
Yeah,
ones that aren't
doesn't
here.
help. That doesn't help. All right, next thing on the list is, I added a few things because I was hoping we'd have some time, so we've got a few minutes. Place for layhap rituals. I would like to move that we go ahead and fix our calendar and reserve it with Fenner. I am not aware of a plan that anybody has in place right now that would get us onto our property at any point during this year's light half schedule. So we should just go ahead and reserve our spot and plan to go back. Discussion?
I agree with you.
I tend to agree with you too.
Yeah.
This is a goal. This is a long-term goal to get on our own property, and I understand that. But we have to be realistic. Is it gonna are we gonna be able to do it within? It is now January and that's May.
Less than 4 months to Beltane.
So I totally agree with you that we go ahead and get Fenner taken care of, run it, do our thing. I
So-
can,
Menu second.
well, I'll second it unless there's any other discussion on it.
All right, before we vote on that, I would like to also suggest changing our Litha date.
I threw that out there because I remembered it.
Because I just found out that Pride 2024, Lansing Pride is going to be on June 22nd, which is the date that I had set for our Litha ritual. So I would like to move Litha back to the 15th. I'm
So-
putting this before you guys when I don't normally because we had already set the schedule and I know some of y'all have to put in work requests way ahead. Does anybody have a problem with that? Any objection?
No objection, not for me.
It's the weekend before instead of the weekend after, so it's 50-50 when we do anyway. So, all right. I'm making a note here that I need to move that on the calendar.
So what are the dates then, real quick, sorry.
For the full calendar for the year.
Yeah,
Hold
for
on,
7th.
hold on. Let me,
I can tell you what the next one is, but that's as far as I know.
I have one document that's just a list of dates and things happening. I have to go get it. Oh, all right.
That'll make it easier to change.
So we have EMOC is on February 3rd. Application February 22nd to the 25th. Ostara, March 23rd. I will not be here for Ostara and neither will Brian.
Okay,
So that's your heads up.
it's the day before my birthday.
Me and Max before that.
I think we'll probably have Ella and Castle running Ostara. So we'll be talking about that in second.
Okay.
So heads up for that.
Thank you.
for that.
Well, at least it wasn't a week before.
I mean, I would have seen it as soon as I started planning anyway, but it just rolled past. So.
I understand.
Belton.
That's part of why I asked you to read these dates off.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I keep them on spreadsheets like this so that, anyway, Beltane is on May 4th. Beltane happens in May.
Star Wars Day.
Maybe.
Ellie's anniversary.
We also have a brief Espit series. Well, an interrupted Espit series in May and into June. We'll have waxing on the May 15th, a full on May 22nd, and we'll have a new moon on June 5th. And they actually correspond really well with excellent magical and our topics on the wheel.
Cool.
I already know what we can do with those. Very easy. Let's June 15th. We'll just move that right now. I'm gonna cut that square out and we're gonna paste it right there. Michael and the keys. All right. And then Llamas on August 3rd. We currently have a waxing Espet scheduled during the ATC cruise period. Who here is not going on the cruise?
I'm not.
All right, well, then you three can handle that one. All right. Mabon on September 28th. It's late-ish this year because it officially falls on a Sunday and I like to go
That's
after.
my birthday.
It's your birthday. Well, it's right after your birthday, isn't it? No,
No, mine's
No.
the 28th. You have
your
that. on-
birthday's on it. Oh, I know how your birthday got moved because of leap year. Damn it.
I'm pretty sure they
I'm pretty
should
sure they know
know.
their birthday, yes. I know.
Sorry, your
I couldn't
birthday
figure
has
out
been
why that got put there
reassigned.
because it's in
spreadsheet.
my head too, so. Wow, okay. Fuck
Happy
you.
new birthday. Congratulations.
I'm gonna have to check other stuff too.
Ella, that means you're gonna die on your
Birthday's the
birthday.
Right spot.
Haha.
Ashton's
should-
birthday, wait.
You should probably check with
Ashton,
him.
what date is your birthday?
The 17th of November.
Yours is in the wrong spot. But Megan, you're on the 31st, right?
No.
Megan's the first.
Who's up? Yeah.
Everybody.
November the
Your
first.
Leap
this
year,
year.
it's leap year. It messed everything up.
November 1st.
My birthday didn't move.
No, I was joking because it didn't snow. Megan's birthday was October 32nd.
Well, who else did I mess up there? Ella.
Was
No, but
Everybody passed
probably
229.
everybody
Right.
class because I didn't actually grab the birthday. So Aaron's birthday, yep, because that's on the 4th. Remember that? Because
that was the first Summerfest.
and
What did you get
another
mine?
one. Yep, yours got moved too, because it moved you, I think, here on the 23rd. It's because I copied and the date field is calculated.
Yeah.
It's a new longevity program. You only get a birthday once every one day.
It's better than once every 4
When
years,
you're
like
in
my
there.
cousin who was born on a leap day, so you know.
I'll
Okay,
take it.
we were
It'll
Maven.
be-
Silent. Yeah,
That's it.
Maven's September
Maven,
28th.
September 28th.
By
Where
the
was
time you're
that? There it is.
364.
All right, we've got a full moon ritual on October 16th. And Samhain on November 2nd. Thanksgiving on November 28th.
Yule on.
Yule on December 21st, and Vigil is gonna be that night.
Cool.
Yep, I've already put in for my vacation for that.
What was the full moon in October?
16th, I think. When was that? Yeah,
That's in the document too, in the rituals folder,
yeah,
right?
2024 calendar is a document in the rituals folder.
Oh,
And what I
geez.
really ought to be doing is doing a VLOOKUP to move data from between that and the marketing spreadsheet, but that's for later. Because of the whole enter at once thing, right?
Right, yes.
All right.
Brian, thank you.
Any questions?
No, so I will get the paperwork around and get the
That's
stuff
right,
done.
we were on center, that's official.
No, you need to, yeah, you need to.
Did we actually vote?
No.
We did
No,
not-
not
We
yet.
did not actually, no, all in favor of reserving Fenner for our late half rituals for 2024.
I
I,
Any opposed?
all right,
Okay.
I will
motion
get,
carries.
I will get that done. I'll put it, guess what? Motion's open. We'll just put it in motion. Cause that's what we do now.
Make sure that you select the correct date for our lithoff.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Oh, that was horrible that year, that last
Um,
year. I felt
So
bad.
we are at 8:30. We do have a bunch of people having class tonight and whatnot. The other things that I had added were the last minute ones. And the first one was thinking about goals for 2024 as an organization. We haven't set clear short-term goals. We have this one big long-term goal, and that's it. And we should think about setting some short-term goals so that we can get some short-term wins. Because the Temple project constantly being off in the future is very fatiguing and it's very annoying. And it's losing interest. So what could we have as goals as a church in 2024? Do we want to grow our
attendance.
our attendance? I'm not so sure we do want to grow our attendance at
No.
this point.
No.
Do we want to grow our funding? And how do we grow our funding without also growing our attendance? Or can we grow our attendance in some way?
I don't think you. If you don't continue to grow your attendance, then you're not going to take the steps forward to complete the temple project.
Mhm.
And if you're not going to complete the temple project, you should sell the property and reinvest the money in something different.
Okay, so
Because if you don't, if you built the temple and you didn't continue to grow, then what's the point of building the temple? So that you can, but if you don't have the money to sustain it, you shouldn't build.
if we get crowded enough in here, will people give more money? Castle?
That's my point. Last week on Wednesday, we had 25 people in this room. It was elbow to asshole in here. It was tight.
Yeah, we're now talking about having no tables for Wednesday.
And, and we're also getting a surge in COVID cases.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, that's the thing? I didn't know about that.
Well, it's surging nationally.
Yeah, like there's a new-
Well,
And so, yes, we're seeing it pop up in the church because it's also popping up in the community.
right.
Well,
Yeah,
about a year ago, we were outgrowing that space. And what did that promote? It promoted us to get this space, which then we start outgrowing this space. What is that going to promote? If we keep, and like when we're at Fenner, we don't really have a
Quote, yeah.
we just get
The-
bigger,
yeah,
bigger, and
yeah,
bigger.
The cap is how many people can we handle, and we can
Exactly.
absolutely grow Fenner further. So then it would be, how can we accommodate growth here? What does that look like?
All those walls up. And getting the space that you wanted when you got the space to begin with.
Except we can't take all those walls out. This one can't go, it's load bearing.
But all of those back there can.
Right, and there's always that.
And and then what does that look like as far as function and layout? How much would it cost to get that done? Remember that we're not allowed to do that. We have to hire contractors. And the last time we got that quoted out was about $25,000.
I'll talk to my contractor and get you a quote on it if you want.
We also, on that note, want to
Not
make
less than that.
that the landlords are fully aware because in writing, just because of the grief they gave us over the wall in this room.
Yeah, they approved us taking this wall down, and then when they decided to get mad at us for overfilling the dumpster once, they yelled at us about taking the wall down and claimed we didn't have permission. So,
So we need that in an
That's
email,
fine.
In writing.
in writing in some form so that we can say, no, you did say this.
so would we be making that an interim fundraising goal? Because then that's another fundraising goal to hit.
That would be a short-term fundraising goal that would allow you to grow, that would help you to grow into the temple when you wanted to do it.
Or where we could do it. Yeah, I agree. That's
I mean, if you could do it, if you had the cash to do it today, it would make sense because you don't have the people to support it.
right.
Okay, so we're not gonna, I don't expect us to come up with something right now, but this is what I wanted, is to get us thinking about this so that next month, maybe we can sit down and say, hey, all right, let's work towards this for this year as a group. This is what we want to achieve, what we want to accomplish. So let's all be thinking about that between now and then. And not, we can go for some pie in the sky ones, but let's also come with, this is what I think our goal could be, and this is how I think we could get to it.
Yeah, you need to build a roadmap to get
Yeah.
to the pie in the sky.
Yeah.
Smart.
Freckles.
Smart goals.
But okay.
Well, you said you didn't want us to do it right now, so
I did, that's why
I
I'm
agree with-
before I move on, I'm waiting to see if anybody else has anything else they
I
wanna
don't-
say on the subject.
I think it's a great idea
I
to
think it's a
have
good
it.
idea for
Okay.
everybody to kind of think about, and you
Yeah.
need to set a date when you're gonna have that goal setting.
Next board meeting.
What if
Board meeting.
Yeah, the next board meeting, it should be an
Okay.
item.
What if we sit down with the same goal format that we do it in bulk? That's effectively what we're doing here as an organization. And use that same format to build out our goals for the year. Because there is always that one that's just your wish, the thing you just really want to happen. And we could have that be our pie in the sky goal. And the rest of the goals can be specifically, because as you say during that ritual, we want to make sure we have clear goals, not just like I want to lose weight, but like I want to be at this weight. Does that make sense? Just at an organization level.
So I disagree in the fact that the in bulk goals are a holistic goal for an individual. Whereas and we should have some of those, but I think the thing that, or what I would like to see addressed, and maybe it's just me, but I would like to see addressed is start building a consecutive roadmap goal to reach the longer goals that we want to do, as opposed to saying, okay, we bought the land, we'll use it sometime. We need to get paths in place,
Well,
and
when-
that would be the short-term goals I think we should focus on is what are the steps that we need to take to get to where we want to go, and incorporating in that the very short-term things that you can do, so you have those building blocks that we haven't been taking.
And
We bought that property 2 years ago, and we still don't have a plan for how we can use it or when we can use it.
But we talked about that last month, and you had said you were gonna talk to your contractor about getting its driveway access, because we had determined that was the first step. Has
Are
that
you
happened yet?
zoned for it yet?
We can't get access to it. We can't zone it until there's a building on it. We can't put buildings on it until we get access to it. The only thing we can do right now is put in a driveway.
the
We-
driveway
Oh,
can
it-
be put in before it is rezoned. It has to be a single lane driveway though. And that's all we have room for on that property.
You said at the board meeting last month, you were gonna talk to the contractor
Alright.
that you've got working on Summerlands about working with us on the property, getting the driveway in and working on the site plan and stuff.
Yeah, and he can't do that until we get out of winter.
So that's a limiting factor right now.
That is a limiting factor because they can't shut the concrete stuff.
The 12 zodiac goals may not be completely applicable to our organization, but the breakdown of 4 elemental goals might. What's our earth goal? What's our fire goal? What's our water goal? What's our air goal?
Well, but also, I think a better way to look at it, because what we're wanting to do right now is focus our efforts, right?
Mhm.
That's what we're trying to do. We've all been busy little ants, but we're not always working in concert. We want to come up with a theme, an overarching goal. And breaking it into the houses allows us to get all of the pieces. It's a sun spell is what it is.
Yeah.
And that's what our zodiac goals essentially can be too. You can put one theme in the center. They don't all have to be different things. They can all relate to the same central goal, and it becomes a sun spell.
Well, they do. They all relate to
Well, they all relate to
yeah,
you.
our self-improvement. So
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Yeah. Cause I kind of like that idea of going back to the wheel goals, but it doesn't have to make it overcomplicated. We can keep it
Mhm.
simple,
Mhm.
still make use of that sunspell magic
Mhm.
and work it in.
Mhm.
Yep, I think so.
All right, I will create. I will create a 2024 goal planning document in the board folder. And set it up so that we can share information on that. And then we can be looking at finalizing it at the next board meeting. Does that sound good?
Sounds fair.
Great.
And we'll all bring our suggestions into it. That work?
Works for me.
Should we add that to the minutes?
Mhm. Well, I'll just take a meeting minute notes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
sorry, yeah, no, I can do that.
All right, we really are out of time at this point, so although I'd like to talk about feasting plans, I will take that to our student meetings for the time being. Or chat possibly. Does anybody else have anything urgently needs addressing this month? Urban
I
Fleur?
do. So, assuming that he could do that when the thaw comes, what are you looking to spend on it, and how are you gonna pay?
We don't even know what to expect to spend, other than somebody's vague quote of you know, what, the city council person said it was gonna cost us $1 million to use our property?
That was just for the parking lot.
That's
Oh,
just for the
yeah, no,
parking lot.
yeah, she wanted $1 million for the parking lot. Yeah, we don't know because nobody will talk to us. We
Okay.
can't get anybody to work with us on site plans or anything. We have no idea. I don't know. I need somebody to talk to us.
Okay.
And
I
honestly,
mean, to be honest, I can talk, I can talk to the contractor for free. And I can get you some kind of idea what it would cost to do the driveway cut. The problem that you're gonna have is whether you have to start getting into architects. And if you need an architect, that starts at $300 an hour.
So
for,
we need to know that. If $300 an hour, that's fine. How many hours are we gonna need to do?
a driveway cut and to put the driveway in shouldn't be more than $1,000, I'm assuming.
It's,
I mean, that's an assumption though.
it's gonna require a permit, and that's the questionable part. And then, break up and then cement and pouring, so. I
pour of
would, I
cement?
would, I would suspect that because it's it's going through that curb cut and everything. That you're gonna be looking at closer to two.
Right, and they
Is
also
this-
suggested paving the apron past the sidewalk a little bit to protect the sidewalk, because if we break up the sidewalk driving over it, it's our job to pay to fix it.
Yes,
Do you even have a sidewalk there? I thought
yes,
you-
Yes.
there is a sidewalk there.
Yeah,
But once we get past that apron, I think we're able to use gravel, right?
Yes,
Part of it, yeah.
after the sidewalk, you're allowed, because if not, you'll end up what's happening in my driveway. And we don't want that, trust me. Pain in my ass.
So again, I'll put the call out there and then we need to close the meeting down because we gotta get to class. This is where we need help. We all know what we want to do, but none of us know the steps to get there. And we need professionals who will talk to us and give us something. You know, all we've gotten, the only person that we got to actually come out here and sit down at a table with us and talk about these plans, all she wanted to do was talk us out of it. And that's not helpful.
is that the council person?
It was the city, the person from
The
the
city employee, she's
the
not on
city
the
employee
council.
from the planning board.
I know this thing is possible. We are not the first small church to build our church.
Right.
We need professional advice to get the path through. The city's not gonna let us just go out there and start building on our own. So
2430500. David Vanderclock. Call him up, tell him what you're trying to tell him your spouse and what you're trying to do.
So you're not gonna call a contractor anymore?
That's not the contractor, that's the architect.
That's the
That's the person who
architect.
puts buildings on land.
Is an architect. Okay,
2430500.
all right.
His name is David Vanderclock, or actually goes by Dave Vanderclock. VANDERKLOK. Tell him what you're trying to do. Ask him what his advice is. And I will talk to the contractor about the curb cut. Okay?
All right.
I will send Dave a note tomorrow that says you're gonna call him.
Any other questions? Suggestions? Concerns? Alrighty. Motion to adjourn then.
Second,
Second, third,
All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
But I
What?
Done the live stream.